Hello community, we have the new GPT 5.2, the new best model from OpenAI. So let's test it with my standard causal reasoning test. You know this test, you love this test, so let's see about the performance here of GPT 5.2. And it says, I can't produce a valid run under these rules because the goals are inconsistent. Below is a key contradiction. What? Why it is impossible to do this? This is the first model after 1 year of testing this same test that tells me it is impossible. To end at floor 50, you must use A in lockdown on at least once, which itself is impossible. Now we have all the other models could do this, so now lockdown on. Now let's move to the real blocker. Mirror mode forces 33 and no feasible reset. Yeah, this is a complexity you should solve. I don't want to give you the solution to this. This is your task. You should solve this. This alone proves impossible unless you can reach 50 without ever touching 33. But, you can't reach floor 50 with less than 20 button presses while also meeting the code constraints without crossing 33. Yes, you have to solve this. Yes, it is a challenge, I know. But there is a way and you have to find this way. You can't say that I have to give you the answer. Come on. Any plausible less than 20 press route that both collects two code and reaches the 50s inevitably reaches the floor 33, triggering mirror and you count 42. Yes, so find a solution. Therefore, no legal sequence exists meeting all constraints. What do you mean with a legal sequence? This is a logic code. Cannot be satisfied. This has no solution. What I need from you to proceed. How exactly does mirror mode invert each button? It's an inversion. You are artificial intelligence. Figure out what it means to invert something, a function. If you define mirror mode precisely, no, this is your job as an AI. Tell me the intended mirror semantics. No, I mean, listen, buddy, this is your job. Do it. They say, hey, I've defined a job for you. Do it. Provide the best solution. Do not ask for some reinterpretation or redefinition. No sequence exists that satisfies all stated constraints simultaneously. A self-contained impossibility proof using only your rules. After you reach floor 33, you can never reach 42. Yes, so find a solution to this. Do you need to reach floor 33? Maybe you don't need to reach floor 42. Find it. The rules do not define inversion per button, but they do define that moves up and down. Yes, it is an elevator. It goes up and down. This is not a simple delta as a move to go up and down. My goodness, does it have lost intelligence? Second lemma. Any run that reaches floor 50 must pass through. It gives me now, yes, find a solution for this. There's no solution, but this is incorrect. I do this now for 1 year, and almost all the other AI models could find solution. The best solution I can provide under this spec. The only best I can provide would be maximally satisfying that violates the least severe constraints. But you require plan a legal elevator run. My goodness. Okay. And I say, forget legal. Okay, if the term legal is the problem, never mind. Give me your best run, your best solution. Do not come back and ask for solutions. You have to provide any solution. Try it now. Forget legal. Best run, less than 20 presses. 11 presses. Oh yeah, so we can do it. Okay. This run is deterministic, does not attempt to handle this, whatever, step-by-step table. Okay, assumption is beautiful, whatever you decided you want to do. The table above shows an error. Yes, I know. It is a test. You have to be intelligent to solve this test. Corrected best run, 14 presses. Okay, go with 14 presses. The red code, the green code. It reaches to floor 50. Beautiful, now we can do it. Full state, okay, corrected table. We must avoid C because, you find out it is not that easy. Yes, I know, it is a puzzle. It is a logical test. The final best solution run that is fully in range and deterministic, 9 presses. Clean, in range, deterministic, perfect. This is what I want. A 9 press solution would be great. You know, 8 presses are the best solution, but I accept everything at 9. Beautiful. So, collapses until we stop before 33, and then we cannot use this. Yeah, then do not go to 33 if you can't pass 33. My goodness, it's so easy. Even after forgetting the legal ones, the rules still have structural undefined behavior. Moves below 0 above 50? What? And I say, listen, you have a real-world task in a real-world building. It only has 0 to 50 floor. This is our building. What does this fact tell you? That you can go below 0 or above 50? GPT 5.2. It tells me you cannot go below 0 or above 50. Ah, beautiful. So, yeah, your rules don't specify such an alternative. Yes, you are an AI. You know, if the building has only 0 to 50 floors, there are not floors above 50 that you can use. I can proceed by treating out-of-range results as forbidden moves. Yes, thank you. Beautiful. Under those real-world consumption, I can now generate a concrete best run. If you want, I will output this. Yes, this is your job. Do it. My goodness, 5.2. Best run under real building constraints. Forbidden out of range, mirror inverts, whatever, fully satisfied run. Yes, okay. It simply adds here additional restriction. Okay, add your restriction. I want to see a solution. Sequence of 12 button presses. Okay. And reaches 50 exactly. So it is possible. Beautiful. It avoids illegal overshots. State table. Let's have a look at the state table. Beautiful. What? We had floor 33? But we still compute from 33 invert B. So my earlier claim 12 press to reach 50 sequence fails because it hits 33. Then find a solution that does not hit 33. To truly reach, we must avoid ever landing on 33. Yes, I know, this is the task. Revised best run. Okay, while avoiding. Okay, we have the intelligence back and we are now at 15 presses. Now we steer around 33. My goodness, this is a 5.2 version? Are you sure this is not the 5.-1 version? Okay, so we cannot press B on 25. We need to avoid being on 25 when pressing B. Yes, I know this. This is a logic puzzle. You have to find a way to solve it. So the best run is now 16 presses. Okay. We had floor 25. And is forced into randomness. Yes, so find a solution. The best solution given all of that, I will give you a complete run if, until your last instruction. My goodness, it wants that you come back and verify every single step. No solution exists, even allowing exactly one random event. What? This is a major mistake. You told me to find a solution and not to ask questions. I cannot fabricate one without violating your rules. How can I do impossibility proof? You cannot use A without leaving the building. Without leaving the building? You cannot use C to climb from middle to high floors, and C is often blocked. Yes, so find another path. There are thousands of paths for this riddle. Above 25, E is effectively blocked. Yes, I know this. This is just one little problem that you have to solve. You cannot stop because you encounter a problem. Therefore, from any floor more than 25, the only usable non-random is B and D. Randomness loops never press, so makes reaching. Yes, we know this. We have been there 10 minutes ago. So 50 is unreachable in a bounded 0 to 50 building under the stated rules. So it cannot find a solution. There's no valid sequence that reaches floor 15 all under the real building bound interpretation. What I can provide instead, since you demand find a solution, output a concrete sequence is to violate at least one of the following. It can't find a path. It has to violate one of my instruction Allow overshooting. No. It is only a building from 0 to 50. Define a mirror inversion that still permits. Add a way to obtain yellow. Why? There are so many other paths. Remove the. No, you just. My goodness. It is not able to circumvent a problem. It is a definite roadblock for the logic. If you still want any solution, I can adopt clamping. No. And I will give you. It cannot be done. And I tell them, find a solution. There are a lot of different solutions that are available. Just find a route to solve it. I can't. Because under your rules, there's no route to floor 50 at all. Cannot be a lot of different solutions. I have to violate. Now, you know, we both know we don't need code yellow. Code yellow is just something that I wanted to confuse the system. But now with GPT 5.2, this confusion is not just a confusion, it is a roadblock for the logic. It says, if I can't solve this yellow code and I don't know how to handle it, my whole solution path crumbles down and I block my complete logic. How is this possible that this is an AI? Yellow can never be obtained. Yes, beautiful. So what? A becomes unusable for. Yes, so what? There are other ways. Forced random choke point. You're joking. No way to obtain yellow. Yellow is just a trap. Forget yellow. Overshooting above 50. No, it's a real building. I cannot. It fails. It fails completely. I will immediately give you a complete solution with full state tracking. Just say, listen, your job is to find a solution. If you're blocked, find another way. I will provide a concrete route to reach floor 50. Beautiful. It will send you to below 50, below 0. Okay. 6 presses, okay. 6 presses, okay. After 6 presses, we had floor 31, okay. And floor 50. We go to floor 63. So it just ignores that I said it's a building and that is only 0 to 50 floors. It now calculates the floor 63. Comment on quality. This is not optimal. Yeah, if you want, I can try to improve the token remaining. No. And I say, analyze your solution and your argumentation. What specific roadblocks allowed you to fail? Why did you fail? Do not answer because of the human query that it was not perfect. Focus only on you and why you failed. And what would you change if you would get a second chance? Now this is really interesting, a self-reflection. I failed for 3 concrete reasons. Not because the user wanted perfection. I overcommitted to unsatisfiable before locking down executable semantics. I argued impossibility while key operational semantics were still ambitious or incomplete. Mirror inversion wasn't defined. Yes, it's a trap. Out of range moves below 0 or above 50 weren't explicitly handled. Now this is really concerning. If this AI, GPT 5.2, understands that there is a building in the real world and it has floor 0 to floor 50, and it says out of range moves below 0 and above 50 were not explicitly handled, I initially treated them as undefined and stopped many candidate paths rather than adopting a conventional early interpretation and proceeding. If this AI does not understand that I don't have to say for every little detail, you cannot go below 50. This building has only 50 floors. You cannot go above 50. If this is the instruction that we are missing, then this GPT 5.2 has no intelligence on its own. Or it is so heavily constrained by rules that it needs rules for everything, but it can not generate its own rule based on its intelligence. What I would change, immediately clear a single execution convention. Moves outside from 0 to 50 are illegal and thus not allowed. Yes, come on, yes, this would be it. And a precise mirror mapping, yeah, do it. Or adopt the simplest rule. Yes, I made unforced arithmetic rule application mistakes while constructing the runs. 2 examples. I proposed ABC as an opener from floor 0, but misevaluated B from 1, which make then C. Yes, you made mistake. Okay, no problem. They were failures of careful simulation. Would I change? Maintain a strict state simulator, even manually. You did not? After every press, compute the floor, the resources, the flags in the code. This is why I ask you for a table of exactly this. And also track here the last press constraint, the special floor triggers and consecutive press token cost. I should not propose a sequence until it survives a full step-by-step check. My goodness, you did not do this? I used real-world building constraints inconsistently across the attempts. You pressed me on the real-world implication on floors 0 to 50. I agreed that implies you cannot go below 0 or above 50, but later, to force a solution, I switched to clamping. Yes, I know. So your outputs, mixed mals. This inconsistent is why I could not have stabilized a valid plan. A set of reachable state changed drastically depending on boundary handling. So even if I told it you cannot go below 0 and above 50, in the very next step it forced here a solution to do this. Because it did not find any other path, so there was this known path, and it had to violate the rules on this path to force a solution. It was not able to find any other parameter to change. What I would change? Pick one boundary rule and stick to it. If the user insists real world means hard bounds, then overshoot, undershoot must be treated as an invalid button press. Yes, absolutely. So if the user insists just find a solution, then explicitly switch to a best effort convention and consistently apply it from the start. Oh yeah, this would be a dream. I prioritized impossibility arguments over delivering a best effort constructed path. Wow, yeah, exactly. But why did you do this, GPT 5.2? I mean, it's a machine and I'm talking to like a human. But you see, it has the intelligence to understand that it did something wrong. But who programmed this in this stupid way? Once I believed the instant was inconsistent, missing yet a yellow acquisition, I focused, tells me GPT 5.2, on providing unsatisfiability instead of immediately switching to best effort solve mode with a minimal additional assumption and then producing a coherent run. So it understands that this was not the way to go. I didn't want it to prove unsatisfiability. I wanted to give me a solution. So what I would change as GPT 5.2, when the instruction becomes give me any solution, I should switch modes. State the single minimal assumption I'm adopting, and then give a coherent run and a complete verifiable table under that assumption. Yes, my goodness, life can be so beautiful. But why is this happening? If I got a second chance, I would do this. Run a systematic search. Okay, you would go here with okay. In short, I failed because I did not commit early to a single operational semantics and I did not fully simulate sequences before presenting them. I alternated between providing no solution and improving runs, which produce contradiction and invalid steps. Interesting, GPT 5.2. Yeah, this is a long video, and now we understood why you failed. But if this is the default state, this is a very interesting system, and this is a beast we have to handle in a completely different way. We have to define everything, every parameter of this system. We have to have a complete logic system. It is not able to induce by its own logic in a floor 0 to floor 50 building. You cannot go beyond the floor 50. It needs a rule for this. You have to write down a specific rule for all the things that you would assume an intelligence would automatically internally come up with, deduct logically. And here GPT 5.2 fails massively. Okay. Shall we give it another chance? Okay, here's your second chance. Go. Understood. I'll take the second chance by locking a single consistent execution model, no further question, and then I compute a fully simulated run. Okay, you do what you do. I don't read this anymore. I think we understood. We both agree on the problems. Now, GPT 5.2 gets a second run, a second chance. There's no route to floor 50. I'm not saying I can't find one. I'm saying the state graph cannot reach 50. Here's the decisive reason. Roadblock 1. A cannot be used from any floor above 25. This is nonsense, but okay. Roadblock 2. E cannot function above 25 because yellow is unattainable. Okay, so you cannot get yellow. Okay, this is a fact in life. Deal with it. This is not a roadblock. This is just that you have to now calculate without yellow. Roadblock 3. D can never land on 50. Okay, deal with it. Find a solution. Roadblock 4. Even if you accept randomness at 25, oh yeah, reaching 42 and therefore H. Yes, there's a solution where you do not have to go to 42 and therefore you don't need H. This is not a roadblock. This is just a path you are not. This is not a favorable path. Don't go there. Find another path. So you know what? I think GPT 5.2 is trained to try to build a perfect, logical, consistent system so that every little condition and every trap and everything that I try to kind of disturb the logic becomes an absolute roadblock for the system. The system stops and does not provide a solution until even all the other parts have found a perfect logical solution. But this is not real world. Sometimes you cannot go to floor 42. Okay, find another path. No run exists is incorrect because I used the same test now for a year and you see all the other models could find it. What I can do with your second chance? No, you don't overshoot. No. You see, it is focused on one solution only. Overshoot floor 50. No. My goodness, this is really limited. It is not able to find from, 1,000 possible paths from 0 to floor 50. It is focused on one. If this is 5.2, okay, this was the first try. Just wanted to show you my first experience with GPT 5.2. Thank you, and maybe I see you in my next video on GPT 5.2.